All right, moving on. What has been the most laborious task for you as a classroom teacher over the years? Let me start with you, Mrs. Morayo. What has been the most laborious task for you as a classroom teacher over the years? Mrs. Morayo?
Okay, the most laborious task I ever came across is the issue of lesson planning and preparation. It's always one task, one thing I've always dreamt of removing as an educator. Sincerely, because before the introduction of AI into our lesson planning and preparations, you have to be seated with textbooks, you have to go to Google, you have to sit down and think about how your classroom looks like, the challenges that comes with your classroom peculiar to each class, each learner. And so when preparing your lesson plans, it's
That's right.
always laborious. You have a lot in your head, but at least
Yeah.
we are happy now that we G-mind, the inclusion
Woo.
of G-mind into our
Yeah.
lesson plans. Sincerely, it's been seamless in all honesty, because I have videos, I have materials to accompany everything I want to plan and prepare for. So even before the end of the week, my notes of lessons for the following week is set. It's on ground already.
Awesome.
So I have more time on my hands to do other things.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And may I just chip in? How relevant is it to what you have been used to? How relevant is it now to what you've been used to? I mean, using an AI for classroom tool like Gmind AI, how relevant is it for you now?
Gmind AI is very, very relevant. It has
Okay.
a lot of resources, even for professional development as an educator. Aside the fact that I'm preparing lessons for my students, it's
Okay.
very relevant because I have videos, I have a lot of materials
Awesome.
relevant for today's learners.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Opara. Over to you. Right. What has been the most laborious task for you as a classroom teacher?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm
Oh,
happy you're asking that question because as teachers, we do so much. We work
yes.
so much. So, just like what Mrs. Motoraro said, I will also mention the issue of lesson plan because I've taught at the primary, I've taught at the junior secondary school level, and that is another time-consuming task. It requires so much brain cognitive effort. It requires time. It requires planning to write a lesson plan. It requires so
Yeah.
much. Yes, and also as teachers, we are writers. We write a lot. Apart from lesson plan, we write a lot. And I'm happy that when I used Gmind, I was so glad for this particular feature, referencing. As a researcher, to compare reference is a different task entirely. It's a different ball game. But with Gmind AI, whatever prompt you give to it, it will always give you the references. Whatever content you're generating, references that they come alongside with the content. So it's very easy to compare the references. You don't need to go to Google Scholar, you don't need to go to Google, you don't need to go anywhere. You can just get your references immediately at the end of that at the end of the content that has been generated, you have the references. So as a researcher, Gmind has really assisted me when it comes to writing because I feel that writing is the most laborious task as teachers. That's the most laborious thing we can do.
Yeah.
But thank God, thank
Awesome.
you for Gmind. Thank you.
Dr. Ojo, thank you. And I was going to ask the same question, but in another way. So, ma'am, could you give us a little bit more highlight on how Gmind AI, is catering to this burnout and laborious effort encountered by teachers like Mrs. Morayo and Mr. Opara?
Okay, like I earlier said that we everything that we did on Gmind AI is not the fact that we wanted to create shining objects or we actually created it from gut feelings. It's actually based on research and also our interaction with teachers. Like we told you that we are actually working with Chatting Community of Practice that give us access to more than 50,000 teachers. So these, from time to time, we understand their needs. And for the fact that we are educators creating for educators. So we are just creating a tool that we also use. I use Gmind AI almost every day, to be able to like come up with everything that I actually do. And I'm going to tell you that it's a good time to be a teacher.
It
I
is a good
actually came, it's a good time to be a teacher. You see, I came from a family whereby my parents are actually educators, my siblings are educators. So I would
interesting.
say that I'm from Ekiti State, and you know that we are very book of book, and at the same time, we are a lot of us are teachers. So actually, it's a good time to be a teacher
Yeah.
because I can see that I started teaching from age 15. That is when I started teaching, and that
Really?
is all I've done all my life, you know. And so you realize that the way we used to do things before and the way we used to do things now, we do more, and
That's
yet we're not born out. And that's the key. And so we have reserve energy to focus on our students, to focus on ourselves, personal development, and also to have enough time for our families. When we come into class refreshed, then our student is going to get a different energy from us. We will not be cranky. And at the same time, we'll be able to have time to focus on each of our students. Look at the large class we have in African classroom. A teacher focus facing 50, 100 students. Actually, an assistant
times
is
more.
needed. That is a lot. An assistant is actually needed. So AI and Gmail are coming to be a kind of like a friend that's just there to say, don't worry, I got you. Let me pick this up for you. Let me do this for you. Let me go out of the way to be able to help you with this. I think it's a game changer. And I also want to actually say it right now that the way AI is going right now, teachers love their job more. I'm
That's
telling you, they feel happy going to the classroom. They feel happy assisting students. They have time for more because every day present different challenges to them in the classroom, which they cannot
that's
even predict. But when they know that they have a partner, that is ready to assist, they are also ready to like face the challenge of the day. So I want to say that it's a good time to be alive
absolutely.
as a teacher. It's a good time to actually have this noble profession, and AI is really doing a lot for us. And that's the reason why we are big on training, so that AI will not be in the hands of the selected few, but everyone could have a touch of AI. And may I also let you know that when we are creating AI, we created AI for somebody like Kate, who is in Lagos, that is advanced, that have understanding of using technology, but just getting exposed to AI. So when we are developing Gmind AI, we had that in mind. And we also had in mind somebody like Bala that is in local village or local region of Kano that doesn't have access to high-end phones, that doesn't have knowledge of AI, that doesn't even have knowledge of technology.
Mm,
So we
that's right.
had all this in mind when we are actually creating AI because we really wanted to create an inclusive AI.
Awesome.
Inclusivity was a big deal for us. And so when we're creating, we work with the teachers to make sure that we are solving their
That's
problem.
right. That's
And
right.
as we also want to create a tool that is going to create that impact. Learning outcome is the bottom line for us. And we know that teachers must have a tool that they can use irrespective of the infrastructural gaps that may not go away so soon. But how can we make sure that we do something? And that's exactly what we have actually done. And we're not backing down. Let me say it's too late for us to back out.
Right. Thank you very much. I mean, as you were just speaking, I was imagining the Gen Z teacher now. I mean, the Gen Z teacher will be balling now.
Yes,
They'll
so
be balling, they'll be loving classrooms more.
yes.
Right now, thank you very much. And so let's talk more. You started it a bit. So let's talk more on technology and AI. And so, in your opinion and based on experience, what is stalling or delaying the speedy adoption of AI in classrooms? Dr. Ojo, as you have stated earlier on the importance of AI in classrooms and where and how Gmind AI comes in. What factors do you see is actually delaying its speedy adoption?
Well, like we've been saying, the number one thing is literacy. People need to know how to use AI.
That's right.
Teachers must know how to use AI. Is there are there are different levels to knowing about AI, being informed, or let me say being aware. Another
Yeah.
is being able to use it. Then the other one is being able to be an expert, able to teach others, to lead the change. So with GMind AI, we are at the forefront of that, ensuring that teachers have good knowledge of what AI is. They are aware, they can use it, and a number of them are transitioned to be master trainer. So we're actually leading that team to ensure that. And at the same time, we also want to make sure that we create an intuitive platform, a platform whereby even if no matter the level of your AI exposure or technology exposure, you can use, our technology. And so when we are building GMind AI, we actually created it in about 3 to 4 phases. The first phase is our AI power tools, AI agent tools that we created. And we make it structured template in such a way that no matter your level of expertise, you can actually prompt to use it in your workflow to be able to ease your work. Then we also have the Zuri chatbots, which is more like your friend that you can talk to 24/7. You can ask the question, any pedagogical questions, teaching best practices, classroom strategies. You can also do your research without actually doing a lot of googling. It gives you references, give you the video, the image, information. It makes everything very intuitive for you. So it's just like a friend you have that you can access 24/7. Then we also have our class hub where teachers can also meet with their students 24/7 in a virtual setting, upload their materials so that students can have more resources to read. You don't really need that kind of a lot before you can actually start virtual learning right now. With under 5 minutes, you set up your class hub and you can teach students from anywhere in the world and also teach with your cool teacher. We also make sure that when we're actually creating most of our tools, we created with co-creation tools, co-creation features. So that means somebody in the West can actually co-create with somebody in the North. That means somebody in US can actually co-create materials with teacher in Nigeria, and somebody in the northern part of Nigeria can co-create with somebody in the eastern part of Nigeria. So at the end of the day, we just see that teacher, they will be able to take a lot into their hands, be able to work with one another, and at the same time, they'll be able to use AI effectively. And on the last note, we also make sure that GMind AI is actually offline capable, and you can even use it in low device.
Wow.
Yeah, because we know
Mind
the
blowing.
reality of African classroom. That is one thing that we have actually done so well in Nigeria, with GMind AI, because we know that the device in our teachers' hands, they are not, it's not the same. So how can we now create a tool that it's actually effective in all these new
Yeah.
devices? We actually did that. And at the same time, we're also working with telcos to ensure that with or without internet, you can actually use AI in the classroom. It's
Really?
just like that. We make it multilingual and we also make it mobile first so that at the end of the day, no excuse for anyone and no one will have to be left behind. And all this we're actually doing. And like I said, AI is for all, and we are building our tool to ensure that, and we are supporting it with adequate training and access.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is a 360 approach. And so I don't even feel like asking now what's delaying the speedy adoption because it looks like you have it all put together. Thank you very much. You mentioned literacy and inclusivity and the ability for it to be offline and more accessible. Okay, but I'm going to ask
Can
still.
I add something real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, if we want to actually look at what will might actually stop the adoption or let me say, fast adoption, or scale, we actually be the fact that we need more partners to actually work with us. This we have actually started. You can imagine if we look at some of the good impact stories that we have, looking
Yes,
at
ma'am.
Dorcas, the way she's able to transform herself, within 6 months, I knew when she started with us and I know where she is right now. Can you imagine if we have 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, or even 1 million of that? A single teacher will impart 100 learners. So now let's assume that when we now have informed teachers, trained teachers, and they have access, what do you think will happen? We'll end up to impart millions of learners. And so it's not something that GMIDI can actually do alone. And that's the reason why it's a collective effort, for every one of us to work together. And let's work together so that we can continue to put these tools in the hands of the teachers, train them, and continue to support them so that without the absence of the infrastructural gap, AI can continue to, we can scale the impact across the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So both private partnerships, public and government partnerships are welcome so that the speedy adoption of AI in classroom is well achieved. All right, Mrs. Morayo, let's have your thoughts. Finally, a solution is here. Do teachers like to suffer? Do they like to suffer? So why is the adoption still a little bit like crawling? Because I know we have millions of teachers. So why is it stalling? Why the delay in speedy adoption?
Okay, I want to believe that some policies
Hmm.
could be one of the major factors stalling the adoption of AI, and our
Hmm.
mindset as educators, as parents. We believe so much in the fact that there could be a misuse of AI in the hands of our learners as well as some teachers. And so the fear is always there. What if it is misused? And if our minds are not disabused from such mindset, we may not fully adopt AI in our classrooms. We understand the fact that
Hmm.
for some schools, they believe so much or they invest so much in textbooks, classroom repairs, salaries over technological development. And so
Hmm.
until we move on, until there's a shift from this
Hmm.
mindset, we may still find it difficult for the adoption of AI.
That's right.
I'm so happy that Gmind is quite different from some AI, which are being confined by a particular curriculum, language, and the likes.
Hmm.
Unlike Gmind AI, which is multilingual, is flexible, can accommodate as many curriculums as possible.
I agree
So
with you.
yes. So Gmind is breaking that barrier gradually, and so we need to spread our wings in terms
That's
of publicity and awareness of what Gmind is doing beyond the AI that a lot of people are exposed to.
absolutely.
Hmm.
That's a great thoughts right there and great opinion. Policies and mindset shifts. Mr. Opera, over to you. Who and what should be blamed for this delay? Who and
Thank you
what?
so much.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much, Mrs. Chioma. So the problem with AI is multifaceted. This problem is not, you can't attribute it to just one person or a particular
Right.
policy or a specific issue. I want to cite what David David did in 1989 in his technology acceptance model, where
Okay.
he mentioned perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use as factors that determine the adoption of any technology. So when it came to perceived usefulness, say when people find a piece of technology useful, they will easily adopt it. They are quick to adopt that type of technology, and I believe that's what caused the growth of AI, the acceptance of AI. But despite
Yes.
that, some teachers don't perceive it as useful. They feel that AI is distracting. AI might be a barrier to effective teaching and learning. Sometimes it's
Mm.
even their attitude towards AI, so that can affect their perceived usefulness.
Yeah.
Then secondly, is on the ease of use. If people don't find a technology to be easy to use, if you find it difficult, you find it problematic, will not use that technology. But
Mm.
I'm happy with Gmind. If you have looked at the Gmind interface, it's very interactive, it's very intuitive. It has addressed this issue of ease of use. So other AI platform teachers may have faced challenges, and I think this is one of the reasons why the adoption is stalling. Other reasons I can attest to is the digital divide. This gap is widening because as the economic of Nigeria continues to suffer, the
Mm.
people who can purchase this technology are fewer compared to those who can actually get it or obtain it. Also, knowledge also is another concern when it comes to digital divide. People have the knowledge of ICT and those who lack the knowledge of ICT. Then internet facilities. I'm happy
Mm.
Dr. Success mentioned Gmind with the offline capability
Fine.
because
That's right.
most of Yes, yes, Max. Most of these AI platforms, they depend
Mm,
on the internet. They depend on the World Wide Web. If you are not connected to the internet, if you don't have data, you don't have MTN data, you don't have what what network, whatever networks you are using, you can't connect to this
that
platform.
that's
So
right. That's right. You're
yes,
correct.
so many schools they have the facility, they do have the physical hardware, they have the computers, they have the tablet, they have the
Yeah,
smartphones, but unfortunately they do not have internet connectivity.
I
So
agree
this
with you.
poses a barrier. Then lastly, mindset of teachers. The mindset of teachers towards AI, I believe, is a major barrier. If teachers have a
Mm,
positive mindset to AI, they will be the ones championing AI. But a lot of teachers, when you mention that, no, no, it will take our jobs, it will do this, it will do that. So they refuse to use AI. So where Gmind is coming in is through seminars, through the workshop, through the conferences,
that's right.
they are changing a lot of perspective. I've seen people who are content. They are even the ones now. I know you have to use Gmail for your lesson plan. Oh. You have to use Gmail to add your pictures, to add your videos. They are the ones now campaigning for Gmail. So I believe we target the mindset of teachers. We can help address the issues surrounding their speedy adoption of AI. Thank you, ma'am.